Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Changing Tides podcast. In each episode, we invite guests to have honest conversations about their mental health journeys with the goal of destigmatizing mental health within the Asian American Pacific Islander community. Due to the nature of the podcast, we'll be discussing a variety of mental health topics and possibly triggering experiences. While we and the majority of our guests are not trained professionals, we encourage you to practice self-care while listening and seek professional guidance if you or a loved one is in need of support. With that said, let's start the episode. Hello and welcome to the Changing Tides podcast. I am your host, Matthew Yonemura. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have a really special episode for you today. A while back, we did an in-person, live on location, live stream podcast for the UPRISERS Family Drive. If you're not familiar with UPRISERS, it is founded by Michelle Hanabusa, who was an early guest on our podcast. And she invited us in to do these live podcast recordings and live stream to YouTube. And, it was a really cool experience for me to meet the people I got to interview at this event. And, it's the video of the full stream is still on our YouTube channel, but I thought it might be more accessible to people if we still release these interviews individually, one at a time per interview, and still release them on our streaming platforms. So that's what this is today. We have our first interview that we did that day, and it's just with one person that I got to meet about, at the time of me recording this intro, about a month and a half ago. And such a great guy, really great guest, really amazing story, and I'm really excited for you to hear that. So without further ado, here is the interview I did live on location at the UPRISERS Family Drive with Rakeem Miles. So, if you guys did not hear me before, thank you so much for tuning in to the Changing Tides podcast. We are live on location here at the UPRISERS Family Drive. I'm sorry to the few people who were listening live and the audio was not coming through. I was talking for like 5-10 minutes without any audio coming through. But with that said, I'm really excited to get this started, get it kicked off. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first guest. So, I've been able to meet this man twice now. Once at the Family Drive's kickoff dinner, where I got to meet some of the amazing creators and artists that are here on site. And we have really great volunteers that are kind of assisting him and getting him prepped up for all of this. But we're ready to go. So I'm going to keep my phone on me. So if anyone, I keep checking my phone. My girlfriend Lauren is telling me it's been working the whole time, but for some reason I tried and it wasn't working out. But we were able to bring on our first guest. I'm going to go ahead and signal our team. All right, here we go. We have our first guest coming in, and I'm really excited for you all to hear from him. Yo,
what's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for being a part of this.
No
man.
problem. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
Where do you want me to see
You can sit right here. You can make sure you look okay. You have the display right here.
Fire.
Yeah. But so I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. So
Okay.
I'll let you take it to the floor.
Awesome. My name is Rakeem Miles. I'm a designer, musician. I write films as well. Have a little animated TV show coming pretty soon. And yeah, that's kind of the basis of like what I am.
For sure.
What I
But
do.
I don't want to. I want to make sure people can find you because I know a lot of people are coming from the UPRISERS side, but a lot of people are coming from the Changing Tide side too. Do you want us to link Action Figure Miles? Is that the best one for us to link, you think? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat for people to go ahead and check you out and while they listen along. But what we're going to do, we're going to fill this time. I'm going to make sure we get to cover your story. But I really want to ask everyone just a couple of questions to kind of kick things off. And I think the first thing I want to ask, because of what brings us here today, is what does the Family Drive mean to you?
100%. For me personally, the giving back aspect of what UPRISERS is actually doing is very close to what I have going on also with my brand, and also coming from social services where, man, I've been around so many people that go through social services, come out with no support, no nothing. end up not financially stable, end up just not being in the position to really like fully take care of themselves. And there's not that much of a support system. Also, there's homelessness. There's so many different things that people are dealing with where they get into a situation where they definitely need the support. And I really appreciate what UPRISERS is doing in the sense they're giving the support to people that really need it right now, you know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just aren't doing that. People aren't even thinking about that half the time. So yeah, I just really appreciate the movement and, you know, what UPRISERS like stands for. So I want to be a part of that 100%.
So what besides, you know, being a part of the podcast today, like what's your involvement with the movement that we're making today?
So for me, personally, I'm here talking to you to talk about, you know, my struggles, and I want to basically put everything on the table as far as what I've dealt with. Hopefully that resonates with the people on the stream as well. But I think all of this is community based. You know what I mean? Everybody here is bringing something different to the table. Just like, you know, the podcast to what's going on with, you know, giving back to people that are not, you know, less fortunate. So what I feel like I'm bringing to the table is being able to bring my story in a completely different, I guess you could say, a different narrative for people to, you know, also connect with if they also been through the same exact thing I've been through.
So that, I mean, it feels like you're natural with the interviews. I mean, you've done them before, but you led right into the next question, which is, you know, when would you say your mental health journey really began?
Shoot, since I was a little kid. For me personally, it's like I've been in alternative school since a little kid. I was on Ritalin, I was on Adderall, I was on all those different medicines to try to like stimulate me and kind of, you know, put me in a place where I felt like it was pretty messed up to be on all those different medicines, because also like your body starts to tremor too, and you're like shaking and stuff.
And if I ask real quick, what age did you start?
I started that I was taking medicine in like first grade.
Really?
So like, what is that, like 5, 6, 6 or 7, something like that? Yeah, I was taking medicine since I was like a little kid, because it started out like, oh, I got ADHD. Oh, I have, you know, depression. I have this. I have that. I never knew what mental health was until like I would say 2018, 2017, when I started hearing, oh, this is mental health or mental health and wellness. I just always was like, shit, I just got some shit going on and I gotta try to like navigate through it, you know. But my whole life I literally was in alternative schools. I couldn't stand I couldn't stay in like public schools, so I went to like 14 different schools.
Oh wow!
Because I wasn't able to manage my anger, wasn't able to manage like being in the class. I always had to like get up and just go outside the class, and I was just constantly getting kicked out, constantly getting in fights, constantly being defiant. So there was a lot of struggles that I was dealing with. Also, my mom being on drugs, my dad having you know, mental issues where he couldn't take care of me either. Like, he literally is just like, he's not 100% there, you know. And there's some things that had happened to him that put him in that place. But like, both of those things, you know, with a kid going to social services and dealing with social services and kind of like being in that space, you get put in to I feel like it does something to somebody at a young age that doesn't grow. You know, I'm not growing up with my actual mom or my actual dad, like my biological parents, and I'm going through these different systems. I'm going and talking to these different like therapists, and you know, it's all very weird. And I feel like that had a huge effect on me growing up. And my grandparents definitely, man, they could have been let me go a long time ago, because I was getting in so much trouble. They were going back and forth to the schools, trying to help me out, trying to make sure I was good. And I just struggled mentally throughout school, you know, all the way to the time I graduated. I graduated from an alternative school. Alternative schools, people don't know, sometimes it's kind of messed up because you get in trouble, right? Let's say you get in trouble in class. They actually take you out, they put you in a quiet room, and they close the door. They take your shoes off, laces, everything.
Really?
Yeah. So it's actually like it's kind of like, it's like almost like jail type, like kind of. I was on when I was in Maryland, it was another school I was at where they would put you. The school was actually in the middle of this like field, but it was like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was only there for the school hours. You know what I mean? Like per day, but it just felt like jail. And sometimes I just couldn't take it. I tried to run one time. They ran me down,
in the middle of
slammed
nowhere.
me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like it was literally like farm area. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, like that type of area. I tried to run to get out of there, and they stopped me and threw me down and then put me into one of those rooms or whatever. And yeah, I just struggled with that shit for years, man. And that's why I talk about it today, because I actually experienced it. You know, I experienced going through mental health struggles. My dad had it. You know what I mean? I had the medicine that was supposed to take care of, you know, what I was dealing with. And that, I don't personally feel like that really helps at all. You know, so I feel like I could sit here today and talk about my experiences, because those are things that really, really were a part of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's so much, 40 minutes may sound like a lot of time to a lot of people, but with a story like yours, it's hard to fill it all into 40
I got
minutes.
a lot to talk about, for sure.
But I want to focus on a few things, and one thing that I latch onto is, you're a kid. At that time, your idea of what's normal is shaped at that time. How much of this did you know this wasn't normal, or was this like, oh, this is what every kid goes through?
I knew it wasn't normal when I was doing visitations, and like there's a person that pops up, like your caregiver. I think not your caregiver. Whatever the people that come pick you up and like take you to visit your mom for visitation and stuff, and then you're like there for like a few hours and you leave, and it's like, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? Because you would think that like you go to hang with your mom, you wouldn't think that you would have like, this person that's kind of in between.
Oh yeah.
Watching for the next few hours, and then that person takes you back home to your whatever family you're with. And that was my grandparents. Going to group homes, because there was times like where if my grandparents were, they wanted to leave, they would put me into this like a group home if they wanted to go get like a vacation and get like some time away from me. So I would go to a group home, hang at the group homes, and like that shit was the worst. I seen some wild stuff. I actually seen the adults at the group home, the people that were actually managing the whole thing, literally punched this kid right in his nose, broke his nose straight up. Yeah.
How old were?
And he was just bleeding.
How old were the kids? I mean, I'm sure it was a wide range, but
he was like 13, 14 years old. Yeah.
I mean, not that it changes anything if they're older or younger, but it's like, I think it's one thing to, hear the story, but I think as much context as there is, like the more context, the more like someone could picture how evil that type of stuff is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Especially when it's just a bunch of random kids from different families, and they're all in this place, and none of them are like adopted or anything. You're just in there with like these two random people, or like a few random like adults or whatever. And yeah, it was weird, because I was only like 7 or 8 at the time, and I would go to sleep, and like the big ass one, like those big, dudes, they would pull up and try to like actually fight. They would actually try to like fight with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because were you a bigger kid at the time or something?
No, I was only like 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, so they were just...
Yeah, so they were like 13, 14 years old. They were a lot older than me.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was kind of the reason that the guy actually, punched the kid in the nose. Because he was like, you can't keep messing with him. He's younger than you, this and that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they would try to fight with me and everything.
Wow.
Like straight up fist fight. And that's where, like, for me, that's how I learned to deal with a lot of like what I was dealing with as far as like my anger and stuff, and to get past certain things, or to basically just kind of, I guess you can say, resolve a situation was fighting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I just learned that throughout my life. That's just kind of how I felt like you resolve a situation. Until I got older, and when I was in public school, because my grandmother did something to get me back into public school. I forget what she did. She acted like I was, she put me in a charter school.
Oh, okay.
And when I got into charter school, it made the system think that I was back in like I was able to go back to public schools after the charter school.
Got it.
Because it almost cleaned my record. Because they're only going to look at the last school you were at. Yeah. So they didn't see that I was like alternative school. And I didn't want to go to alternative schools anymore. I wanted to go back to public. So going to the charter helped me because that was the last thing on the resume of what school I went to. And then I got back into public. And then, yeah, shit just kind of went haywire again. Kept getting in trouble. Things kept just kind of going down.
So, unfortunately, with the nature of a group home, there's a lot of kids going through similar experiences.
Yeah.
But, you're using your story and your platform to tell this story and to maybe help a kid that's in the same position, or people have been through similar situations as you. So, like, what inspired you to tell your story? Because you could have kept it hidden. You didn't need to put yourself out there the way you did.
Honestly, it's like, so it's already in the music, and it naturally came out of me in the music. It wasn't like something where I was like, I thought it out and I was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. It was just kind of a thing where it naturally was something I was already talking about. Because how I can't just make music unless I have an emotional attachment to the song.
Got it.
Like I actually literally won't even write music unless I like 100% feel it. You know what I mean? Because that's the only reason I write music in the first place. It's only because like I just literally use music to help me feel better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Help me get what I have going on, whatever's in my head and whatever I need to get out, I put it out into the music. So I can't really, it's hard for me to do, writing for other people and all the other stuff, or have somebody write for me or anything. Cause it's like, I have to feel the energy. I have to like really feel, what I'm saying. Everything has to really be, I have to be emotionally attached to that project.
Got it.
So I started to realize like, hey, this is already a message I've been pushing for all these years. Since 2011, when I put out my first project, put out my album Depression, then I put out Adderall, then I had put out Do They Really Love You, and it has my mom on the front, holding me. Is what my grandmother holding me on the album cover, because my grandmother used to go pick me up in Baltimore and give my mom like $5 to $10 to give me, to her, but basically she wouldn't give me up until the money was given to her. Because she wanted to go buy drugs. Oh, wow. So if she was giving like $5 or $10, it's like, oh, here, take them. You know what I mean? So I had that album cover on there. So later on I could tell that story, because people probably don't even know that. But throughout the whole project, I tell my, story. And that's why I said, do they really love you? Because it's like, did she really, love me? And then even in my daily life, like now, it's like, do certain people actually love you? Right. Because, there's a lot of, fake stuff that goes on. A lot of people that act like they got your back, they don't have your back. So that was kind of a representation of that, But yeah, that's what really, the music is really what got me to be more outspoken about what I was, what I'm dealing with. Because I know it'll resonate with people. People have always told me like these projects that I put out over the years, including also the Action Figure Miles project, that I put out in 2019, they said it resonated with them in a way where it helped them get through what they were dealing with. So I was like, okay, I'm already naturally doing this because it's just like organically I'm just making this music, right. And it's just how everything happened to come out, and people like it, and it resonates with them and it's helping them. Why not talk about it more and actually be somebody that can just show them like, yo, I'm dealing with the same thing. Because if I act like I've never dealt with anything, everybody's just going to think that, I just got it easy. Right. You know what I mean? As well. So I think it's important to tell your story. It's important because there's other people trying to do the same thing you're doing. And if you don't give them the keys, they'll never know how to unlock the doors. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're almost holding back a lot of information and resources. Because it's like, you didn't even tell anybody, oh, I went through this and that. And then they're like, oh, shit, I thought I couldn't get through because I've been through these different things. And I thought these hurdles were going to stop me from even getting, becoming successful. Right. So, yeah, that's the reason, though.
So you led right into it with Action Figure Miles because, I mean, someone could look at the brand. It's like, oh, these are cool designs.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at your website or your Instagram, like there's a meaning behind it. So what's the meaning behind Action Figure Miles?
So the meaning behind Action Figure Miles, as a kid, I grew up with, action figures, animation. A lot of stuff that I, really liked as a kid, I used to cope with what I was dealing with emotionally. Not having a mom in my life or having that father figure in my life to really, help me out and give me advice when I need it and shit like that. It was kind of one of those things where I just felt, this character is really a part of me. The hero, like actual cape, represents heroism and what I wanted to see in my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
The blue represents sadness. Like, when you're feeling blue, you're feeling down. That's the mental health aspect of the brand. And that's why I created it. I felt it was a good symbol for what I have personally dealt with in my life. And I wanted to be able to showcase that and use that as like a positive, figure for people that, know the story, want to support the story, and they want to help me, help us grow as a community because it's a lifestyle brand as well. So what I'm pushing is a movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for a long time, and I talk about this every now and then whenever I have like a male interviewee for the podcast, but I feel like it's so rare to have men talk about their mental health. Was it ever something where like your friends would be like they would be disappointed that you share it, or they would be like, why would you put yourself out there like that? Or has it always been pretty positive?
There's some people, because there's a lot of people that are sheltered when it comes to that type of stuff, but if you're going to be an artist and you're making music, because there's already people out there, like if you think about it right now, the music, some of the music is like, it has these kids wanting to go out and shoot somebody. But at the end of the day, that's what they're putting out there. That's maybe their experiences, like an artist's experience, that they're putting it out there. And there's somebody that's going out and doing it. You know what I mean? Because they get the vibe. They're starting to feel it. Like, oh snap! You know what I mean? Like it gives a certain energy, right? So it's important for me to put out whatever I'm putting out to the world and give the energy that I have, you know what I mean, which is good energy. Give that out to the world so they can, receive it, so there could be a balance, you know what I mean? Because if it's like, if I don't say nothing, how is anybody ever going to have somebody that can help mentor them through the music and help them? Because all they're going to have is these other people, you know what I mean? They're never going to have any guidance or anything through the music. They're just going to have somebody telling them, yo, shoot them up, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of, I just think that there needs to be a variety. There needs to be a way for these kids to be like, this is what I want to go support. Because when I was young, I like Kid Cudi or Pharrell, Kanye, you know what I mean? Certain people that were talking about something and had a message at the end of the day. So I think holding back my story wouldn't give them the opportunity to even know that I even exist or somebody like me exists.
Totally.
Yeah.
Where do you see? Because I think being a part of UPRISERS Family Drive here today kind of goes along with the mission. It goes exactly along with the mission with Action Figure Miles. But where do you see Action Figure Miles going as a brand and as a mission? What's next for you?
I really want to take it to the next step. Like I really, I have the music as well. Yeah. That I really want to implement. I really want it to be a full-on lifestyle brand where people are able to, because the brand to me is like a walking billboard. There's messaging, there's certain things that I want to really get out there. So for me, just being able to have the brand at another, like the next level, to a point where I just see tons and tons of people wearing it. I want to have a festival. I've been throwing tons and tons of events for years. I want to have a festival. I want to be able to see everybody, walking around in the Action Figure Miles. That's like awesome. Clothing and stuff. Yeah, that's like that's a goal of mine. To just kind of really build this thing out to an actual. I even got a TV show that's coming too. Yeah, with Carl Jones. So
how much are you allowed to share about that?
We've been working on it for a while. We're looking to try to take it out in January.
Oh wow!
And we're working with an agent over at CAA, so I think things are kind of looking good right now. So trying to figure out where we'll see where it goes. Mm-hmm. But Carl is, I mean, he's done the Boondocks and Black Dynamite and the Jellies with Tyler the Creator and so many other TV shows. So I literally couldn't have anybody better in my corner to make that happen. But to answer your question, I just really want to expand this thing to the next step and really show my story on a larger platform, because it's like I have this story, but not everybody knows what Action Figure Miles is actually about.
Right.
So I want to have the opportunity to like really showcase that on a larger scale. So when people really look at the brand, they know 100% this is what it's attached to. Because not that many people pay too much attention into like looking into everything.
Right.
So it needs to just be a little bit more apparent. And I want that's what I really want to build in the long term.
I'm going to ask a question, then I'm going to grab a tissue and then hand you the time.
Okay.
But I'm still we have time, so don't worry. But
okay.
You touched on how that combines with music, with the festival, or just your platform in general. So what's next for the music side?
So for the music side, we're working on getting a label involved right now. So it looks like, because I just signed with this management company called Milk and Honey. So we'll figure out how everything goes. Just waiting for a label situation, and that's kind of where it's at right now. Because once we have a label, I can start rolling out the music. Because my biggest thing with the music is like, I've already been in the position where I was rolling out music independently, doing everything I needed to do independently, but I think it's best to learn from the mistakes that I've gone through, having a bad management team, people that don't really care to help move the needle.
Right. Everyone's
just kind of just sitting on their, on their butt like the whole time. And it's like, all right, if you're going to just make, look at me and wait for me to just kind of like push my own career. That's literally what I've done for the past few years. Everything that people have seen on my Instagram or anything I've accomplished has been me pushing that stuff forward. I don't have like somebody on my team, like, in the background pushing and making these deals happen. It's literally me on the phone. You know what I mean? And I just got solid management, but I'm still waiting for even something on that side to happen. So it's like, it's kind of waiting to see when the best time is to push the project, because I don't want to just put it out there and then like it doesn't, because there's so many different components that go into building something that becomes like, I guess you can say, stable. You know what I mean? Versus just throwing it out there and the next thing you know, it's like a flop. So there's a lot of moving pieces. Like the TV show is one.
Right.
The brand, having activations, making sure everything is queued up throughout the year. Some cosigns, certain things that really build the narrative and like really show what I'm actually trying to like build, versus just like, oh, he just put out some music in a music video and that's it. And then that's all it's gonna be. And then it's dead from there. So
I was listening to your music and I have someone in mind who I think would sound good, but do you have like a collab that you would like manifest to happen?
I've been working with Chad Hugo and Mike Larson from Pharrell's team.
Nice.
So I really want to be able to work with Pharrell. That's something I've been looking forward to. Or Tyler the Creator. I always run into Tyler. I just did Flog Now.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's Mike G. Man, Mike G has been one of the people that have championed me for like years.
Yeah.
Like since I literally had nothing at all.
Wow.
He was somebody that truly looked out for me, had my back, and there's times where I had like $25 in my pocket during the tour that I set up. But
oh wow,
he was the bigger artist, so I was like, all right, well, he gets the bulk of the money at the end of the day, and he would just pass me bread.
Wow.
And I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I had no hotels to sleep in, so I was basically like no place to stay during the tour because I had no money to like get a spot during the tour back then. So I was like, shoot, he would just let me stay in his hotels.
Wow.
Yeah. So I definitely, that's another person that I feel like I would want to continue working with.
Yeah.
But the two top people, definitely Pharrell and Tyler for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
When I hear your sound, because I feel like you're kind of you're not contained to one genre, in my opinion. I feel like you would sound really good with Tizo.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like you both have like the rock kind of, but like you could also do the rap side. I feel like that would be a crazy crossover.
Tizo's dope.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to talk to him at Flog Now.
Oh really?
But I just felt like it's best to just kind of wait until the right time. But yeah, he's dope, and I think that's actually a really, really good, solid that would be a crazy collab.
I need a writing credit if that happens.
Got you, 100%.
To bring it back to the mental health, though, we talked a lot about where you've come from, and that makes for really knowing the foundation of where you're at. But in terms of mental health, like where are you at now? What's what's giving you peace of mind? Where do you, besides music, what else do you use to give yourself comfort? And also just where are you mentally?
So CBD a lot really helps me. A lot of walking. A lot of, honestly, pushing things aside now. It's like I was doing just back-to-back calls, back-to-back. Because if I'm also an artist and I'm also doing the business and I'm running multiple businesses and multiple things at one time, and I'm flying all over the place trying to do all this stuff, right? So I started realizing, like, let me take things, just let me kind of start pushing things back a little bit. And I started doing that because I used to have, like, feeling myself kind of like, tremors and stuff like that because I'm just, like, so stressed out. So I was like, you know what? Let me start to kind of figure out I guess you could say, a system here to kind of move everything, kind of set certain things aside so I can, really get myself back good mentally. I feel like right now where I'm at, I feel a lot better than I did a few months ago, but it's an off and on thing, like one day you can be super excited, happy, next day you just like down.
Yeah.
So it comes in waves when it comes to like depression, especially.
Yeah.
So It's like, it kind of just hits me at weird times. So it's kind of hard to like say really where I'm at currently mentally because it is just like a roller coaster.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How do you handle the ups and downs? Because I think that's, it's really easy to let the downs bring you down.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of try to find that balance?
Shoot, man. Like I said, walks. Sometimes I'll just go buy some stuff, which is not good sometimes. But I'll just like put something new on my new artwork or something like that. Go do something creative. Sometimes I'll just like do freestyles even. Okay. I can't put the album out right now. Okay. 'Cause I'm still working to try to get that out. I'll just like do some freestyles or just write a verse or something like that. Because I'll probably just be super mad about something. So I got a lot of diss songs. So I'll put everything on my phone and the notes, just writing lyrics and stuff. So yeah. But
it's cool you got the Reebok deal if you ever need new shoes.
Exactly.
That's what I do. Whenever I need to buy something, I'm like, I instantly check for shoes.
100%. Yo, honestly, that's a good way to kind of make yourself feel better, but it is like temporary.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah.
You mentioned something earlier about the I think it was just a second ago. I wanted to make sure I followed up on it. About pulling yourself back. Because I think, especially if you're independent, if you're a self-starter, you want to take every single opportunity. Yeah. And then when you're not working, it's easy to sometimes be like, I'm not doing enough. Yeah. But like, was it hard for you to kind of tell yourself, I need to take a step back? Was it hard for you to tell yourself, I need some time?
Yeah, definitely. 2019, I had to really step back at that point because I was signed to Empire. That shit didn't work out because I don't really fully think it was 100%. It wasn't like fully Empire's fault. I just didn't have a good team, you know? And like, how would, half of these chains and these different companies, these big corporate companies work without a good team of people? Or
Right.
that's why people get fired all the time. You know what I'm saying? You don't show up to work on time. You don't, you know what I mean? There is no support. It's like, hey, like, you gotta go, man. You're not like supporting the company properly. You're not representing us good. You gotta go because you're slowing us down. You know what I'm saying? So I have to have those people that are representing me to make sure that all those people are solid. And if they're not, the whole ship is gonna go under.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I dealt with that in 2019. I mean, I dealt with that my whole career because I just couldn't. I still haven't been able to find like the best manager. Just manage myself. So that being said, it's been kind of lost my train of thought that time. Bring it back.
Management. Maybe you had the wrong team around you.
What was the question you said?
It was about telling yourself to take a step back.
Yeah. So 2019, that's when I realized I had to take a step back because everything was like kind of, there was a shift and I realized it was coming too.
Yeah.
Because I saw all these things happening. It was kind of like, it's funny now because it's like, I was like, yeah, dog, I'm going downhill.
Oh, man.
Yeah, nah, for real.
It's
I already, because I could see it in the summertime of 2019 that it was about to take a fall.
Really?
Because I kept asking my team, I'm like, yo, I got like 7 or 8 months of things organized. Like, I was setting it all up. I was going on Adult Swim, doing stuff on TV. Then I turned around and I was doing tours in Australia. And I was just doing all the stuff that I was setting up because I had just kept trying to figure it out. And things were coming through, but one person is not going to be able to fill up 12 months of opportunity. Right. So I was telling my team, like, hey, I have this and that lined up to this time. Could you guys help add more resources and things that we can, like, more opportunities that we can, like, continue to build this? They were like, nah, we how are we going to do that? And just, like, kind of making me feel like I just was not, like, worth the time or worth anything. You know what I mean? So a point where it was, like, kind of scary. So I took out that time, and it hurt me through, 2020, just sitting on my tail trying to figure out how to build everything up. And, taking that pause was the worst, man, because I wanted to continue to put out music, continue to do everything, but I had already learned that there were certain things that just weren't working. So I have to fix those things. It was never the music. It was never any of that. It's always just been finding the right team because I've always done shows and there's always been hundreds of people at the shows singing the songs. So I know there's a fan base. You know what I mean? It's just trying to manage everything yourself. It's just like, I just don't know anyone who can do it. So I took out that time, developed a brand, developed a TV show, started really putting and molding everything together. And once the end of 2021 hit, my whole life had changed. Like, everything changed. Yeah. Got, moved into Luca Lake, a nice crib. Like, everything just kind of shifted. I got with PacSun through Chad Albers, and then also my boy Chase, who looked out for me. And just kept doing these collaborations, kept putting the brand together. And through that, got a lot of different music connections and started to just rebuild everything. Yeah. And now I'm back in a really, really good place versus where I was then. I was upset. I was bitter. Like, every artist put something out, that's trash. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's easy. I feel like that's so easy to feel that way, especially because, I know you didn't blame the label. I think that's fairly so. You don't need to blame the label, but it's like when they're bringing on a lot of new artists, right? It's hard to make sure that they're putting the right team around you every time because they're always bringing in new people. They're gonna see what sticks, and sometimes it just won't work at that time, but that specific juncture. But I think from your mission, you're one of the people that I'm looking forward to seeing thrive. I'm going to make sure it's going to work out. I'm going to need a copper chain. Yo. Yes. I'll let you know. But for the people out there, whatever streaming services for music or where they can find you on socials, where they can buy your clothes, do you want to plug anything before we wrap up? And I'm going to, again, I'm going to hand sanitize and blow my nose real quick because I want to dab you up before we head out.
All right, sure.
Plug all your stuff.
Okay, so Rakeem Miles, you can find me. Apple Music, it's Rakeem Miles. Spotify is Rakeem Miles. Instagram is Rakeem Miles Raps. Twitter is Rakeem Miles. Everything's Rakeem Miles. Type in Rakeem Miles, you find me.
And
that's RAKEEMMILES, which I assume is on there anyways. But yeah.
And then the clothes?
Oh, the clothes. Dang. Almost forgot the clothes, man. ActionFigureMiles.com. You can find the D2C clothing, and then PacSun is Action Figure Miles.
Yes, sir. All right. Rakeem, my homie, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to wrap up, and then in 5 minutes, we'll be bringing in our next guest. Did you cut already? Thank you so much to Rakeem for joining me on the podcast and discussing everything that he did. You know, his upbringing, to music, to fashion, to what inspires him, to, you know, just sharing his mental health journey because, you know, it takes a lot of vulnerability to share what he did. So thank you so much to Rakeem for taking the time. And thank you to Michelle and the UPRISERS team for having us there at the UPRISERS Family Drive. So if you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to our show for episodes that release every other Tuesday and give us a rating or review on your favorite podcast platform. If you would like to support our podcast and help us grow, you can do so with a donation to the link at the bottom of the episode description. To hear more about Changing Tides, follow us on Instagram at LTSC_Changing Tides, or check out our website, thechangingtides.org. Let's continue to change the tide on mental health.
Yeah.